Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's not your average Josh back here for another movie review, and today I am here to review the new movie starring Willem Dafoe called Inside. But before I get into my movie review, I do want to say hit that like button, hit that comment button. First time watching any of my videos, hit that subscribe button as well. You can follow me on TikTok and you have me on Snapchat where I'll post content similar to this, but for the most part, my content will be here on this YouTube channel, Not Your Average Josh. So again, I appreciate all the support, but let's get into the review of the movie Inside. Inside was directed by Vasilis Katsoupas and also written by Vasilis Katsoupas along with Ben Hopkins, and it is a story about Nemo, a high-end art thief who is trapped in a New York penthouse after his heist doesn't go as planned. Locked inside with nothing but priceless works of art, he must use all of his cunning and invention to survive. This movie was very interesting to me from the start. Willem Dafoe, I just think, is a world-class actor. In anything I've seen him in, he's always giving his all, and the movie may not be the best, but he usually gives a borderline, if not always, great performance. So when I first saw this trailer, I was just very intrigued with this whole idea, as I mentioned in the description, of a guy who is an art thief and just gets trapped in the place that he's stealing from in this very expensive place, and just the whole movie being a one location type film where you just have Willem Dafoe showcasing his acting prowess, and then also just the character itself, Nemo, which I will say I don't remember them ever mentioning his name in this movie. That's the first time I actually even really knew. Maybe they did mention it throughout. I'm not sure, but on IMDb it says Nemo in the description as well. So I guess that is his name. But yeah, this was just a very interesting idea from the beginning, and Willem Dafoe seemed like the perfect role for this, and it delivered in every way in terms of his performance. He is just so great and captivating in this movie. A movie like this, you really need to make the right choice when you pick the actor for this, because really it is all him. There's very few other cast members in this, very few even listed. It's all just him in this very expensive, as I said, New York penthouse, and just him having to use his creative mind to try and get out. And there is a level to this. I will say that you do start to feel the length as the movie goes. After a while, there is an element to this movie where you're like, okay, I get it. I get the idea. He's trying to get out. But anytime that starts to invade my thoughts and ruin maybe my experience with the movie, there's something that happens in the sequence of events, whether Willem Dafoe comes up with an idea or something happens that sparks new energy and belief that he could get out of this penthouse that he's trapped in. And it reinvigorates your interest and intrigue as to where this movie is going to go from here. And there's just a nice little flow and movement in terms of that, and nice pacing to this movie, I will say. For a movie that there's a lot of moments of Willem Dafoe just kind of sitting around, just relaxing, trying to get his energy back, eating what little food he has or drinking what little water he has. With the wrong choice of actor here, I think this movie could have come off as boring and slow in these moments, but I was just always captivated on Willem Dafoe and his character Nemo. And just from the beginning, you feel like he is such a real, tangible person. You feel his past in a way, even though you don't really know much, really nothing at all about it. He gives this little monologue at the beginning and end of the movie that sort of gives his thoughts on what he thinks of himself, but still doesn't really give necessarily any info on him in his past life, other than the fact that you get the sense, obviously, he's been doing this art thievery for an extended time, and that's something I also really loved from the beginning. You just really feel his experience. This is a very chaotic situation that breaks out, and that's something I really loved. Also, the directing in the beginning of this movie, when he's attempting to rob this place, and then shit just goes awry so fast within minutes. You're watching in this real time. The way they shot it, the way they created this chaotic atmosphere. There's these alarms going off and these sounds and lights, and Willem Dafoe is literally the most calm you could be in this situation, in this chaotic situation. You already get the idea in the sense that this guy, okay, he's experienced. He may not have been in a situation like this per se, specifically like this, but he's probably been in some hairy situations in this, high stakes, expensive penthouse, getting this high end art. There's a piece in here that they mentioned is worth $3 million. So obviously there's a lot of risk to this. It's just really an interesting character to put in this situation. It would have been borderline silly to have someone that just seems helpless in this situation. It might have been maybe fun at times to watch, but it is great to have someone smart and inventive in this role. And because he just comes up with so many interesting ideas, and almost every idea that he comes up with, I was either on board with, or I honestly didn't even think about. Like, he was either a step ahead of me, or I was like, oh yeah, I definitely would have done that. And not that I'm the smartest person or anything, but obviously he thought of way more stuff than I would have. For the most part, he just comes up with all the most creative ways you can come up with. Getting injured a few times, having to get through that. Again, having to just find ways in this expensive-ass place to find food and water in some way. And there's always just enough that he can just get by for the days he's in here. That's what makes this movie also just so dramatic and interesting for me, thrilling in a way. You're always like, is he gonna get out of here? You know, it's just always that hold. And again, that can get a little feel at times like it's gonna borderline on being stagnant, but Willem Dafoe just puts such a great performance in, and in the writing of this as well, where it just always leads to something else, where your interest either gets reinvigorated or it continues. You get this renewed hope that he will hopefully be able to get out of here, even though you don't know anything about him. It's just that's something I also really liked about it. You don't know really anything about his character. He seems like he might have been not so good of a guy in life, just a few things he said about himself. You can't help but sympathize and empathize with this situation that he's in. Anyone can imagine being locked in a place, no matter what the circumstances are for. And then, of course, just the idea of Nemo being locked in this place, an expensive-ass penthouse with all this expensive art, all this, just this like 2-story huge place. For Nemo, this is a prison for him. And he kind of mentions that at the end, when he leaves a note on the wall. Again, I won't spoil anything what happens, but he does leave a note on the wall for the owner. If you love one location movies, I think you're going to have a blast with this. The direction of this is just so hand in hand with the performance of Willem Dafoe. And just there's these moments where they just play with so much cool ideas, where the apartment, the heat all of a sudden comes on because the fancy system that's in this place gets fucked up. And so the heat gets really hot all of a sudden, then all of a sudden it'll get really cold. And it's just kind of this back and forth that Willem Dafoe's having to deal with the temperature, and then also, again, just trying to find food or water. And there's just this one moment, again, no spoilers here, but where he's in the freezer just trying to suck up what little ice he can. And just the sound effects that they use, it just felt like they had like the sound effect of Willem Dafoe trying to get that ice, and then also feel like they definitely added some sound to amplify it in a way, and just the camera is close up on him, and you just feel everything he's going through, the thirst and the hunger, and it's just like, oh, you just feel it so much, and you can't help but just empathize with his character. And yeah, I just really had a great time with it. There's a few moments, I think there is an idea or two where they stray off in a way that I didn't necessarily vibe with as much. I was more on the road they were going on. They kind of veer off to the left and right a couple times, where I thought they could have shaved off maybe 5 to 10 minutes of this movie, where it does feel lengthy once you're getting to the end of this. But other than that, there's some really just intense visceral moments here, where it just, everything Willem Dafoe's having to do just to survive here, his character Nemo, it's all, you just feel it so much. And the direction of the performance is just exactly what you should go out and see this movie for. If you are going to go see it, I would definitely recommend it. I had a very good time with this movie. But that is my main thoughts. I'm going to give Inside a 8.5 out of 10. I get if you think this movie is boring, maybe a little dull, stagnant at times, but honestly for me, I was just engaged the whole time. Willem Dafoe, just another great performance, and also this director, I did not know him. Great job for him, just great on a technical level. I don't think there's much to complain about with this movie at all. It's just some maybe story elements that for me at times didn't vibe with like I did the rest of the movie. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys think. If you have seen this movie, if you haven't, what are your thoughts on this? Leave a comment, leave a like. That is very much appreciated as well. If this is your first time watching any of my videos, you can also hit that subscribe button. That is very much appreciated. I'm still starting out here with this channel, still been doing it for a few months here. I love talking about movies and TV shows. I want to do more on the TV show side and older movies as well. You can follow me on TikTok. You can add me on Snapchat, where I'll post content similar to this. But for the most part, my content will be here on this YouTube channel, Not Your Average Josh. Be looking for more videos very soon, and I will talk to you guys later.